Major benefit of this to me is that you are setting your monthly budget. In our example, it's around 4,000. I don't know what your budget's going to be, but you're going to need to figure out kind of how much you bring in every month, how much you have available, and then and try to live under that amount so that you can, you know, thrive. Hi there. I wanted to show you today how to create your own budget tracker like the old bank registers you'd use to keep in your checkbook. These are useful because today people are not actively keeping a budget. If they're looking at their bank at all, they're checking when they're out of money and wondering what happened. We don't want to be in this situation. We want to know at a glance where we are at and what we have left for the month. Also, you may want to share this with a companion or partner if you share a budget with them to allow them to contribute to entering to what they purchase. I hope this inspires you to think of other free tools or free apps that you can use these tools that I'm going to show you today with to create your own useful apps. So let's get into this right now. So from here, we're just going to open a web browser. We're going to go to Forms, Google. Just search that up. What? Okay, so I'll start fresh so that you can see everything. Now on my form, I wanted to be able to upload the receipts. Okay, so first thing, in order to do that upload and save important receipts, you don't want every receipt, but some receipts you want a digital copy and you want to save that forever. So we have to change this to a quiz. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then I'm going to pull this up so I can kind of look at some notes while I do this. So let's turn this part off. I don't want to collect the emails. Okay, turn that off. And let's get back to questions. Now the first question is going to be the amount, right? And it's going to be a short answer. Okay, let's add another question. Merchant, or you can name it whatever you want, but it should be, wherever it was spent at. Okay. Next question is going to be a category, if you want to track what categories it was in. I recommend you keep this short but also fixed, because when we get into the other part, you're going to want it to be a fixed number of categories and not infinite. And also, like, categories are great, kinda, but you quickly, if you start having too many categories, all of a sudden it becomes meaningless. So I find, like, I want to track my groceries, but I also want to track fast food, because one is a necessity and the other is a nicety. So we didn't have to go out to eat. We could have just saved that money. That's kind of my thinking on that. Entertainment. clothing, utilities. You know, certain things in your budget are optional, and certain things are required. So as you're planning your budget out, you know, you want to think about that. No, this is a good list. You could do more. I know it would be nice. I'll show you why later, but you don't want to have an other option. You can, like, here you can say, you could basically enter in your own other option, but in this case, we don't want that. We're going to create a pivot table later, and that just will make that pivot not work out well. Okay, so I'm not going to have a long answer, probably a short answer. Doesn't need to be long. Added a notes field here. On mine, my wife and I also, I just put in who did the spending so that we could keep track of that. It's not important or not mandatory. Here we're going to select this for the receipt, and I misspelled that. And we're going to select file upload. We'll say, yeah, that's fine, because it has to have a place to save it. So I want images only. This is the file type here. And this part's going to be kind of tricky. I'm going to look on my phone and see what these images that get saved come out as, and see how big we need to allow it to be. 1.9 megabytes, so 10 will be just fine. Okay, and is it required? No, that one's not required. Let's review required here. We don't want notes to be required. Pretty much amount, merchant, category, that could be the required ones. Okay, and now let's change this, and we'll call this our budget tracker. Let's see if I need anything else. Make it a quiz. I don't know. Immediately. We don't need grades, but the reason we need it to be a quiz is because that file upload for the image won't be for the receipt. If you wanted, you won't be able to add a file upload if it's not a quiz. I don't know why Google does that, but collect email addresses, we don't care about that. Send responders a copy of their response. We don't care about that. Allow response editing. That can be helpful. Don't limit to one response. That would be bad. Total file size for all uploaded files. So this could be, I mean, I would up this, because if you're using this for a long time and it's really helpful to you, you may exceed your file limit. This is just basically how much space it's going to take in your Google. Presentation, manage how form responses are presented. Now we can show progress bar, question order, confirm. So we do want the other response because that can be helpful. We don't want to disable auto view results summary. That's not going to be necessary here. Collect email addresses by default. No. Question defaults. Make questions required by default. Oh, okay. Okay, great. Let's look at responses. None. Now, this is important. Link to sheets. So we want to create a new sheet and we'll do that. It will open up. Now, it's probably a good segue into our sheet. Okay, so I'm going to preview this and I'll just submit something. So let's say we spent $10 at the Maverick, and that was fast food. Okay, we'll submit that. Yeah, I need to get rid of that, so that's good. Let's go back here. Okay, let's submit another two. Okay, so right here on this one, you're gonna see add file, right? So this is on my computer, but on your phone it'll be different. Responses. I know that edit confirmation message. Let me see what I've got on the other one. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off this, turn off this, turn off this. On my one with my wife, I put this at a terabyte. Maybe that's a little bit much. 10 gigs is good. You think about it. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to show you how dumb I am. I'd have to figure out exactly how much 1.92 megabytes could be in a gig. But so a gig is 1,000 megabytes. Do some quick math here. So it's about 500 pictures for one. If we were to come back here, 1 gig would be about 500 pictures, roughly. So that's a lot. I don't know if you're going to use it that much. You might just want to say 1 gig. I don't know. Depending on how much space. I think if you're not paying for space on Google, then you do probably want to limit that to 1 gig. We don't need the after submission message. Okay. So now let's go here. We put in our one answer, right? And so you saw that. We came in here, we did one. Now we're going to see here. This is our thing. We didn't add a note. This is the amount. Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to actually change this around. I'm going to add a sheet here. this will be our landing page, so that when you open it from your phone, it will be right on that, okay? And then I'm going to add another one. This will be, well, actually, I'm going to delete that one because I'll add it a different way. Delete. Okay. So now we got our form responses. That's where the data will go. And then we'll have a landing page. On this, I want to show, you know, a sum. We'll design this real quick, okay? I want a little thing here, and we'll make column B the big one. And I want a big amount of text here to show like how much. Where's my thing? Why is that not working? Okay, so yeah, 2034. Let's put that. We want that centered, and we want it in the middle, and we want the font size to be massive. You got to think, you're going to open this on your phone and you want just a quick display of that. And so we want to format currency. We want the background color. You know, as it gets worse, it's going to turn from green to red to show us that like we're getting close to our budget. Like this is all for you. Like, you know, some people get emotional about their budget or whatever, but this is just for you. Let's say our budget was let's think say your budget's $4,000 a month, okay? So that budget, and then maybe we'll have a thing here that says remaining. We don't want the text to be too long. So, and that's going to be like, you know, 700 or whatever. If we had 4,000, it'll be like something like that. 34.76. No, it's not going to be 76. 66. There we go. We'll also format that to be dollars. This is dollars. Okay. And maybe under here, a little chart might be nice of whatever, of our categories. Okay. I'll do that in a minute. So now, oops, I keep doing this. I don't want to add a sheet this way. Okay, let's go here. And what we're going to do is we're going to say insert. We're going to come down here to pivot on a new sheet. And we want A1 through G999. That'll give us 1,000 responses. Right now it doesn't like that. We'll just go 99. That'll give us 100 responses. You can do more later. Okay. The way to add more is come here. There you go. Now we got 1,000. Okay, let's start over. Since we didn't go far on this pivot, we'll just start over. Insert, and this would be a good review for you. Pivot 999. Okay, new sheet. And this is going to be our totals. Okay, what we want here. Let me open up my review, make sure that I just want to see, you know, I forgot. Okay. Okay. So here we got our pivot. Oh, come on. There it is. Sorry. All right. Back on it. So here we're going to say add timestamp. That's the row that we want. Okay. Columns. We want category. And then values is the amount. Okay. So right now, this is going to show basically every entry. And that's not exactly what we want. So we want to come here. And when we get onto this, we want to click this and we want to say create pivot group. And we want month and year. Okay, so what that's going to do is group everything to that month and the year. So let's go add another response on our form here. And now we're going to go out to eat and spend $23 at McDonald's and put that, add that. Okay. Now look, it added up to 33, but if we come back here, oops, we got it. All our entries now. Okay, so there's our 2 entries right now. And you can see here we've got the one category, and then you've got your grand total there. So, all right, let me show you what's going to happen. As you add more categories, this pivot table is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, more columns, which is fine. That's how it's designed to work, because we added columns here, and we're going to want that so that we can create a cool chart, little pie graph. But what we want is we want all of our categories already entered into the thing, so that we so that as you go forward, like you're not we've already got eating out. You need that table to be static. That's what I'm trying to say here. You don't want it to grow and change what columns you're using, because you'll see on our pie chart later that will not work. So I'm just going to enter each one of these manually. You can see that. Okay, gas. And if you added more categories or different categories that you want to track something, that's fine. We're going to say 0 on these. I don't recommend like modifying this table much, but you can come in and just add some entries. And just a little trick there, you probably know it, but I highlighted those and pulled it down. Okay, and then here for the date, we're going to do something old because we don't want to impact our current data. So December 1st in the year 2000. Okay, we'll grab these 2, pull that down, and see, I screwed up. I wanted these over here, and we can put NA here. Just pull that down. Okay, great. Let's go back to our totals and see how that turns out. Okay, you see here now we got December 2000 and a bunch of entries, but we also have all of our columns now. So we have our grand total column and the rest. Okay, let's go. So that's our pivot table there. And what we want to do now is we can actually wire this up to work. And so what we want to do is we'll grab a little formula here. And this is going to be totals table A3 B 22. 22, that will give us 22 months and years. So that's quite a bit. We can go 50. And here we want totals also. Okay, let me go over this. We'll start with so we got the index and the match function. You may not be aware of that, but this is a similar way to do like a v-index or something, but to find something on another sheet. And in this case, we're looking at our total sheet here. Okay, we are on the match. Let's go over this function first. We are looking for the text of today so that it finds, the current month. We don't want it to find a different month. And we are matching year, month. We're doing that format so that when it comes and it searches over here, it's going to search A, and it's going to search this column and try to find, for this, in our particular case right now, it's 2023 March. So it's going to find this column. Okay. And we searched totals, but we need our quotes around this to find the sheet. Okay. In fact, I'm going to show you how to pick that. Okay, so range, we're going to leave it on this function right here. We're going to switch over here to totals, and we're going to just say, we're going to come down 50 rows. That'll be basically 50 months, 60 months, because that's easy. So that's going to search 60 months for the text of today. And here, what I want to do, we also have to do this one. So let's delete that. And I'm going to search that column, but now we just want the J column. Before I had all of them, so I'm going to go here and we're going to come down and we'll get J and we'll go to 60 also. Okay, so index basically so the match function searches this A column for the month and year. The index column, it's going to return an index of which column that was, 19, 13. In our case right now, it's going to return 4 as the value. And then this last column over here is which column do we want it to be, and it's at 2, which is 1, 2. If this was gone, you'd see the B column, but we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because we want the grand total. So let's put 10 here. It may not be exactly right, but we'll try it out. Okay. Ooh, it was exactly right. Found $33 spent, right? Okay, so now, like I said before, we wanted the background color not to just be orange all the time, but we want it to be representative of how close we are on our budget. So rather than put the fill color there, we're going to come here and we're going to say conditional formatting. Okay. We're going to come here and choose a color scale. And I like the green, orange, red. Okay? But, hold on 1 second. I'm going to check my own one and just double check that I get this set up right. Put this on. Okay, so now we got to set up our values, right? So we got green, yellow, red. We want number, and number. Okay. Max point, we put in our budget. What did we say our budget was? 4,000. I wish that Google allowed me to reference this column. That's the one thing with this. I wish that was there, but it doesn't. So halfway in between 4,000 is 2,000. And then the starting number, or the min point, is going to be 0. Okay, so we're in the green right now. And just to show you that works, let's submit another response here. We'll spend $2,000 right now at Best Buy. Actually, we're going to spend on our rent, and that's going to be under, we'll call it utilities for now. You could probably household, or you could add a different column. Okay, let's go back to our thing. Ooh, we're into the yellow now because we spent that money on rent. All right. Okay, now I promised you. Oh, that's not our remaining. So let's get this function set up. Right here, this is easy. We're going to say, oops, over here. We're going to come here, delete this, and say this equals B3 minus B2. Okay, there you go. It was pretty close, actually, though. All right, last thing I promised you was a pie chart of the data, because we want to see, our spending categories. That's fun. But we're going to say chart is going to be pie. And what we want to do, give me 1 second. I'll be right back in a second. All right, sorry about that. We're showing you the chart. Okay, so the data range, what data do we need? We need totals. We want to come over to the totals, right? And we want these columns, and then all the way down. But we don't want the grand total. That can be for a different thing. Okay, so that's our ranges there. And all right, I'm gonna have to actually do a different thing because I don't know what's going on right now. Hold on. Okay, so think. Yeah, okay. Yep, for the pivot, we're going to have to start over. And what we're going to do is we're going to come here and we're going to take these columns. We're going to staticize this data, and I want to, and the reason is I want row 2 to always be the current month. So we're going to do that same trick that we did by basically when we came here, we did this trick of matching on the current month using this function right here, text today. So I'll show you right here what that does. We got text today. Okay. First off, we'll get rid of the text part so you can just see. Okay, today, that's today's date. Now we want the text, right? And we have to give the text function a format. So we're saying yyyy-MMM for the month. Oops. Single quote. Error, of course, because I'm not smart. Oh. In this thing, the quotes have to be in double quotes. Single quotes don't work. Okay, so now we got the month year like we wanted. Okay, but we still want to match the clothing column that matches. We want the clothing column that matches March 2023, okay? So if we come back here to our pivot table, which is going to have that, it's going to be right here. So we want to find March 2023 and the label of clothing, which we know it's always going to be right here on C, okay? So this, we're going to come here and we're going to add match in front of that, and then we have the range. The range is going to be this column, and it's going to be all this data, but we want more than those months, so we'll go down to 60 like we did before. There, that's what we want for the range. And then we're going to tell it, oops. Okay, so match range, search type is 0, and enter. Okay, so it didn't find it. Search type. Search type optional. 1 default finds the largest value less than or equal to. 0 finds the exact value when the range is unsorted. That's what we want. We want it to match this in this data. But here, I'm going to switch over to my landing again. Let's get off of that. So we only want to match column A. Okay. So I'll change this to an A. But I'm going to take this range because we're going to use it in a second. Okay, column A, exact match. It's number 2, which is, if we go number 2, we started at 3 here. 2 is March. Yep. So that is right. So let's keep going. Now we're going to add the index function, and the first of an index function is not that. So hold up. I'm gonna go get this right. I gotta get off that column first. Okay, so let's come back here. So index, we're gonna give it the range again, which column to match, and then which row it is. Okay, come back here. So we're gonna say index Now we're going to give it the range that we had. But in this case, I want to go to J. And over here, we know that that was column 2 or something like that. Okay, so let's double check that. So we gave it A through J, down to 60, and column 2. So we have 1, 2, 3. So I think it's going to be 3. And to double check that, oops. What did I just do? Okay, yep. So let's change this to the category of clothing, because that's what we're working on. Change the rent to clothing. We're going to come back here. And I said column 2, right? And that doesn't have anything in it, but I think it's column 3. And now it has 2000, which is right, because 2000 right there. So this B was 2, of course. I'm going to put this right here as pie chart data. Okay, I don't know why that's all caps. I'll turn that off. Pie chart data. Okay. So now we just want this, but we want it in every other column. So I'm going to lock these so they don't change. So putting a $sign in front of the number locks the column. You probably know that. And then I'm going to pull this over here. And so we got, oh, that did not work, but we'll just do it manually. I hoped that that would, okay, we need to lock this too, of course. Okay. So now we lock the letter row also. Now it copied the same thing, but right here we're going to say 4. And here we're going to say 5. Here we're going to say 6, 7. Sorry, I wish there was a fast way to do this. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe some smart person will tell me. So we got 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3. Those are our categories. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to come back here. And we had this at household before. Now we want this, our pie chart. We need to edit this. We want to change this. I want to remove that label. Choose, select the range. This will only ever be this big because we're going to match the current month. 1 column is required. Okay, so we'll pick that. Screw that. We'll figure out the labels in a second. Let's remove this. Oh, what is going on? Okay, we need to change this. Okay, this is the range here. So pi. That's the data. Okay. What is going on? I'm going to delete this. Sorry, I'm not the best at Excel, but I think this is still interesting. Dude, there we go. Well, that's great, but that is not what we wanted. So we did get a pie chart. Setup. B4. Well, that's not what we want. We want this to be our data. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Labels is A2. And so it's getting upset because columns aren't numbers. So let's just go here. Column 2. Format as a currency. There we go. Column 2 must be numeric. There we go. Switch rows and columns. And put this better there. Okay, so right now, I mean, it's not great. It's not the best presentation because we really only have a few data points here. 33 eating out and household 2000. So let's say we spent 500. Oops, hold on. Screwed that up. And this will be 3. Okay, let's enter a couple things here. We're gonna come here. We spent 500 on Dillard's and clothing, and then we'll do 300 at the grocery store. And 5 on entertainment stuff. Okay, let's double check where we're at. So we got, let's go here. So we need gas and utilities. So $2.99 on bills. And say utilities. And then we spent $1.50 at the gas station on gas. Okay. Oh, groceries. We need groceries. I thought I did groceries. Let's double check this. Groceries. Let's go to the totals. Yep. Okay, so we got a misalignment here. We got gases here at 0 and groceries is 300. But over here we got gas at so hold on. Groceries is 300, household 2000, utilities 299. So household I wonder why that got screwed up. So this is something's up. Let me double check here. Clothing 500. Pie chart 500. And I think we're going to end up with one more. So I'm going to fix this one too. 10, and now I'm going to go here and copy these again. Paste them here. Okay, so gas. I thought I put in gas. Didn't I just add gas? Yeah. Gas station, gas. Okay. Okay, our totals. Oh, we got gas and gas. That's a problem. So one of these has a space. There we go. Now I need to come back here, re-grab these. Sorry guys, I got confused. Paste that right there, and we will get rid of this. All right. Okay, so now we've got everything entered in. We've got our landing page here. So there you go. Got some, you know, it's rough budget, but that's how it works. I'm gonna record. I'll just record a little video from my phone, so you can see that part too and add it on. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was cool. One of the major reasons why I decided to create this app was all the free services out there. Quicken used to have this online, like a budgeting thing like this, where you could go in and enter your budget. It was still not as easy because we weren't using, smartphones as much back then, and there wasn't the apps, but but you could do it with Quicken. However, it was a lot more difficult to enter, and they stopped that service, and they switched over to Mint when they bought Mint. A lot of the apps are like Mint right now, where they just read your bank account and they don't really have a budget, but they just kind of tell you the transactions that went through, and they categorize them for you and stuff, or you can set up categories, and they try to get smarter with that. But it doesn't really help, because the major benefit of this to me is that you are setting your monthly budget. In our example, it's around 4,000. I don't know what your budget's going to be, but you're going to need to figure out kind of how much you bring in every month, how much you have available, and then and try to live under that amount so that you can, thrive and stay within a budget. If you're just spending everything that you're earning, then you're not going to be able to support changes in your lifestyle that you may want to do. But if your bank is just telling you after the fact, this is what you spent, then there's no way for you to check how much you have available left based on the plan that you're making. So that's what's important to me, is like, before you decide, hey, let's go out to eat, you can say, hey, let's look at our budget and then see if we can go out to eat. And I think that's a huge benefit. But yeah, I hope you found this useful, and I'll see if I do more. I don't know. From Android, here we are, and I want to show you that how to get this our budget thing to our desktop for the app. Okay, we're going to add it. We're going to call budget. I said add to home screen. Add it. Okay. And now we also want to, I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick our sheet. Okay. And I'm going to add that. Maybe. Hold up. Oh, it opened it in sheets. It's not what I want. Share. Add home screen. Okay, we'll try that. Add that. Okay. And now see, it's already on the landing page, which is great. So now I've got these two here, right? I want them to be the same folder. I'm gonna add this here as a budget. Done. And then we can come here. You can enter your data. And then you can, oops. Come here and review it. So I don't recommend, like modifying these while you're in your phone here, but they are available. But here's the major thing. You can take a quick glance and see where you're at on your budget. So anyways, hope you enjoyed. See you.